the last vlog of the year. I finally made it. I did it. And this is kind of just like me. You know, this vlog is just kind of about me acknowledging the fact that I made a vlog every single week this year, which, if I'm being honest, was really freaking hard. And sometimes I really didn't want to do it. Sometimes I was just like, oh, fuck it, let me just skip it. But I didn't, and I made it, and I'm here, and we are at the end of the year. And I've learned a lot from vlogging the past 52 weeks, well, 54 weeks, because technically I started Musician's Life in 2017. It was an eye-opening experience, just kind of having the camera on me, and then sometimes watching back these episodes just to kind of see how I was, to see how I've kind of progressed, not just as a person, but also how I capture myself on the camera, how I tell stories about myself. And I've changed a lot since I first started. And if you think about it, you know, when I used to do Gaby Plays Clarinet, I've changed even more since then. I just approach things so much more differently. And that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about on this final episode of Musician's Life of 2018. I wanted to share with you guys just what I've learned so far this year from putting myself in front of the camera for the past 52 weeks. So, as the intro you just watched suggested, in the spirit of 2018, I'm going to be telling you the top 18 things that I learned about vlogging my life as a musician in 2018. Number 1. If you want to do something, just start doing it. It doesn't matter if you don't know what the next step is. You'll know once you start. You know, I get one of the scariest and hardest parts of doing an endeavor is just to start it. Just because people are scared. It's like, oh, what are people going to think of me? You know, this isn't going to work out. I'm never going to be successful. But you're never going to know if any of those things are for sure if you don't just try. So just try. Just do one little thing. You know, think of it like learning a really hard piece of music. It might be scary just to start it because all you're thinking about is how hard it is, but it's never going to get learned unless you just start playing it and start practicing it. And then, you know, once you start practicing, you start figuring out, oh, I need to start working on these 16th notes or this passage or this interval that I can't play. And then, you know, you just kind of go from there. The same thing goes with any endeavor that you do. Once you just start doing something, whether it's performing, composing, I just have to start. The first step might be as simple as just opening up a document, writing the title, and putting a note on the page. Do something that's gonna like build momentum. And then as you take more steps forward, you'll know whether it's something you're meant to be doing or you'll see it through to completion. Which brings me to number 2, which is spend your time doing the thing that you want to be doing. You may have noticed in the last couple episodes I've been working on a original composition just for me, just for myself, to learn how to write original music. Once I actually started doing it, I realized, oh my gosh, like this is what I want to be doing. And so I just started spending more time on it. And you know, that's not to say that, you know, doing it never gets discouraging or it's always fun 24/7, but you know, I feel energized doing it. And when you find that one thing, whether it's, you know, performing, composing, writing, arranging, teaching, whatever lights your soul on fire, that's what you should be doing. That's what you should be focusing your energy on. And for those of you, you know, who have teaching jobs, have 9-to-5s, you know, I totally get that, you know, pursuing a passion takes a lot of time and energy, but if it's something that you're really crazy about, set some time every day just to do a little bit. Like even for me, you know, I'm constantly doing things with different endeavors. You know, I've got foreplay, I've got this channel, I've got other things that people have me do. I have my own jobs that I work outside of doing all of my musical endeavors. Even if it's just an hour or 2 hours, sometimes 3 hours to do what I want, you know, practicing, balancing all the things that I need to do. Just putting in a little time and making those hours count really makes a difference. And that one leads me to number 3. Don't wait to do or say something. It's better to have tried what you wanted to do, to say something, to reach out to someone, to talk to someone about something that you want to do, than wonder what if. And the one way that I really personally learned this lesson was just, you know, again, for example, producing my own music. I've said that I've wanted to do this for so long and I kept pushing it off. It's like, oh, I'll have time for it later, I'll have time for it later, I'll have time for it later. But you know, time passes by so quickly and things change all around you every single day. And not to make this morbid or anything, but just personally, this year, I've experienced a lot of loss in my life with people passing away, people who I'm close to who've had loved ones pass away. You know, you only have such a limited time with them, and just, you know, experiencing mortality in the loss of someone else's life really kind of just hits it home when it comes to like realizing what's important. For me, what's important is just live a life that I'm happy in and I feel fulfilled in every single day, or at least that's what's important to me right now. I need to be doing the things that I want to do to live a fulfilling life and to be able to share my gifts with other people. What happens if one day I walk into the street and a car doesn't see me and hits me and then I die, and then I didn't get to do any of the things that I want to do? That scares the shit out of me. So I don't want to have to go through my life knowing that I missed out on something that was perfectly in my control of being done. That's why it's important to do it now, because I don't want to live a life full of regret and what if and I wish I would have done this. That scares me a lot more than the fear of having to do something. All right, now on to number 4. It's okay if you're working on something and it's not the way it looks like. It's okay. It's okay that whatever you're doing is not perfect right now. There's no such thing as perfect. You know, we're human beings. If things were meant to be perfect, we'd be robots, or we'd have robots do everything, because perfection would be so much more valued. And I think the fact that as human beings, we aren't perfect, we are all full of imperfections, I think that's what makes life beautiful. Nothing is ever perfect. We're all human, and you know, for the most part, there's a good portion of us that are empathetic to the plights of others, and, you know, the vulnerabilities that other people have with one another. And in fact, more oftentimes than not, it's not that you even care so much about it being perfect. It's usually masking some other thing that you're not dealing with. Now, that's not to say that there aren't perfectionists out there in the world. You know, I myself consider myself to be a little bit of a perfectionist. You know, I'm not quite so strict on myself as I used to be. But anyways, another point that I wanted to make about this is that a lot of times when we want to create something, we have this perfect vision of what it looks like in our minds. And, you know, when you make it, it's like, oh man, it doesn't turn out the way you want it to be. But when you start something, it's never going to be good, especially if you're a performing musician or you've ever been a musician in your life watching this. Imagine the first time you learned how to play your instrument. Were you good? No, you had to take time learning the fingerings, you know, figuring out your sound, developing that over a long period of time. It took you probably years and years and years to get to the point where you're playing right now, right? Think about how much time that took. Now, when you're trying to do something new, like, you know, make music videos or make vlogs or, you know, whatever, write music, arrange music, produce music, anything new that you want to start doing that's, you know, outside of what you've already learned, like your instrument, like learning how to play your instrument, it's the same thing. It takes time. And in any case, even the experts make mistakes too, and, you know, they're not always perfect either. So if you're all about creating music or creating something out in the world, it's just important to just create and make something of what that is, even if it's not your perfect vision of what you want at the moment. What's more important is that you keep showing up to practice, which brings me to number 5. Show up. Show up even if you're the only one that shows up for yourself. Honestly, one of the simplest answers to the question of how do I learn how to do this, or how do I become a professional or good at something or good at this endeavor, successful at this endeavor, is just to show up, just to practice, just to do the damn thing. Again, going back to learning an instrument, the reason why you became a professional musician or good at what you do in your career is because you kept showing up day after day after day to work on something, whether it was just your own project, whether you work for a studio and you have to mix and master something, whether you have to learn a really hard concerto, whether it's a jury or something like that. You had to spend time to show up in your practice room, show up to your computer, show up to your notation software, whatever it is that you do to work on your thing. And so, you know, over time, that's how you get good at something. And Same thing goes for me with this vlog. That's why I wanted to commit to doing it, a vlog every week, to challenge myself to not just do videos, but to keep showing up for myself. Because let me tell you, there were many times I just wanted to quit and not do it, but I wanted this to be successful, and I knew, just like with my own clarinet practice, I have to keep showing up to do this if I want to be successful at creating stories through video. So, yeah. Number 6, get clear about what you want your thing, your endeavor, your plans to look like. Plan things out. Maybe that means type it down on the computer in a Word document. Maybe it means writing it out. That's personally what I like to do for planning these vlogs. Or maybe you have an app or a task keeping thing that helps you get things done. Whatever you do to help get yourself clear about what you need to do to get something done or to accomplish something, do that. And for me, every time I've planned out one of these vlogs, for example, everything goes so much smoother. I'm not freaking out about what I have to say so much. I already have an idea of talking points in my head because I outlined them and planned them out. I didn't have to really think about that, and it's easy for me to just go through the flow with the video, and it makes filming so much smoother and easier. But some things can't always be planned. Number 7, as much as I plan, try to get clear about what kind of story I want to tell in these videos. I can't plan everything. Some things just come unexpectedly. And honestly though, the most organic moments for me, those are the ones that I enjoy watching back the most, because sometimes there are things that are full of joy. There are elements of surprise that I wouldn't have necessarily anticipated, when I'm planning out the vlog. Like, for example, remember that last vlog that we had, and I was just full of joy just from how happy I was making that little track, even if it was only like the little drum track bit. I couldn't have planned the reaction that I was going to have. I knew I would be happy and excited doing what I was going to do, but I had no plans to just kind of erupt in happiness like that. And for me, that was just like a really sweet moment, and I'm glad I was able to capture that on camera, because sometimes you can't always capture those on time either. I was so glad I was able to capture that on camera. It's just stuff like that. You can't always plan for those kinds of things, but sometimes those moments are the best ones of all, the ones that you don't really plan for. And even when I'm planning things out anyways, it's just like a bare bones outline. I like to have freedom in talking about what I want to do. I don't like having things scripted because, again, I want it to feel authentic and organic. And, that means kind of leaving some things up to spontaneity and to chance as to what might happen. That brings me to number 8. Because you can't expect everything that's gonna, pop up, that's just kind of how life is. There's some things that you don't necessarily plan for that will happen. It's important, at least it has been for me, to know how to roll with the punches. If something comes up that's unexpected, you just work to figure it out, and you kind of adjust as you go. You gotta be a little malleable, a little bit flexible. Flexibility, I think, is something that's really important to have as a musician and a creative person in general, because you have to be willing to just kind of roll with the tide sometimes. And in the end, it's less about what actually happened, less about that unexpected thing, than how you respond to it. How you respond to it is going to help you just kind of how you approach everything. And for me, I've noticed that the times when I don't respond well to things, I'm in a more foul mood, I am more critical of myself, I beat myself up more, I'm less productive, rather, when I just kind of work with what I got, it makes life easier, and sometimes it makes for interesting content and an interesting experience. And then, on that note, we come to number 9. It's okay to fail at things. It's okay to not succeed at everything. As much as we'd like to be successful at everything all the time, it may not always be that way. And I totally get it. Failing is a shitty experience. I'm still learning how to deal with failures myself, but your failures don't have to turn into a shitty experience. There's a lot that could be learned from failing. For example, you'll learn what didn't work. Which brings me to number 10. Every moment is an opportunity to learn something, even if it's to learn what not to do. Say you put on a recital, and maybe things don't go as well as you'd like, and you're kind of down because you didn't play your pieces as good as you did. Maybe you learn to practice certain aspects of the piece better next time. You know, again, always learning something, whether you did good or you did bad. And then comes number 11, which is something I'm still working on, and you know, it's a day-by-day thing, but judging yourself for your failures is a waste of time. And this is a particularly strong one for me, just because for me the biggest thing that I personally struggle with when I don't succeed at something, when things don't go my way, I have a problem with judging myself a lot. I have a lot of self-judgment, self-esteem issues. But you know, something I've been realizing is that the amount of time I spend judging myself and criticizing myself, and not like constructively, but I mean like putting myself down for, you know, being a like failure. Doing that just drains me of energy that I could be using to spend on getting better at whatever it is that I messed up at or didn't succeed at, or you know what I mean. The point is, I could be spending that energy trying to improve myself and actually do something that will help benefit me, help me move forward, more importantly, help me move on from, you know, the fact that things just didn't work out the way I wanted to. In the end, for me, it's more about having empathy for myself. You know, again, nobody's perfect. We're only human, and I can't be so harsh on myself for not having succeeded at something. You know, there are very few people who succeed all the time, and I don't even know any of those people personally, so yeah, you can't be too hard on yourself when things don't work out. Now on to number 12. Make time for rest. Burnout is seriously no joke, and I have had to learn this lesson the hard way, just because I'm just the type of person that just goes all the time. I work my hardest, and then eventually I reach to a point where I just can't go anymore, and I break down, sometimes mentally, sometimes physically. I just am simply too tired to carry on with the work that I want to do, and then I end up having to take like a week or two to like recalibrate and recuperate. And that's not to say, you know, I shouldn't be allowed to have those moments to rest and recuperate for multiple days at a time, but you know, I could last longer if I just made time for myself each day to just like rest a little bit, you know, just I don't have to push myself to the extremes, you know. And I also have to deal with this thing where I constantly feel like if I don't work hard or I'm not working, I'm a lazy person, and I know that's not necessarily true, but that's just something that I've always had just growing up. I just, you know, everyone in my family, they're all hard workers. You know, growing up I compared the amount of work that I did compared to them. In comparing myself, I would often feel like I'm just such a lazy person, and you know, that would cause me to beat myself up for not doing enough work and so on and so forth, and I've carried that on into my adult life, and so that's something I have to work on as well so I don't burn out, because I do need to balance my workload a little. So for you, that means meditating, going on a walk, taking a nap, getting some kind of rest in, and just even if it's only like 15-20 minutes part of your day, it really does make all the difference. And you know what, if you need to take days or even a week or a month off of work, that is totally okay. Like I said in the beginning, it's important to be doing things that you really want to be doing, and if your endeavor at that moment just like, I just don't feel like doing it right now, just take some time off from it. It's totally okay. Number 13, create for yourself, because not everyone is gonna like what you do. One of my favorite beauty YouTubers always has this saying that I really love that goes along the lines of, I'm paraphrasing this, you might be the ripest, juiciest peach out there, and not everyone is gonna like peaches. And that goes the same thing for everything in life. You may think it's the coolest, the best, maybe a lot of other people do too, but there's always gonna be someone who doesn't really like what you do. You're not their jam, and that's totally okay. As long as you're okay with the work that you do, that's all that matters. Number 14, surround yourself with and work with people who fill you up with energy and are excited for your success. This has been a big one for me lately, just because, like I mentioned in the beginning, I used to hang out with a lot of assholes, and you know, looking back on it, they weren't really good friends to me in the past. And, now that I'm in a position where, my time and my energy given to other people is valuable, I have to be very picky and selective with the type of people I hang out with. So I don't want to hang out with anybody who tries to bring me down, who doesn't like that I'm successful, who doesn't support me, who's not supportive of me. I just don't have time for that anymore. It's like my time is valuable and precious, and I'm only going to give it to those people who value me, who treasure me, and want the best for me. Those are the type of people I want to be around. Number 15. Progress is achieved when you reach outside of your comfort zone. Just from personal experience, I noticed within myself that anytime I wanted to try something new, something that was more ambitious, something that was riskier, something that, there was a chance that maybe I would fail. Anytime I made big moves like that, just outside of what I normally did in my routine, anytime I did something like that, it always paid off for me. Either that, or if I failed at it, whatever I tried, I learned something out of it. And for me, this was especially important because anytime I wanted to make a big change in my life, I realized that I wasn't gonna have anything big change unless I broke out of my routine and stepped outside of my comfort zone. Yes, it's not a fun feeling all the time. I get nervous and I'm scared that things won't work out, but for me, it's more important that I tried, and even if I failed, just knowing that I tried my best to get whatever I wanted to done, that was more important than failing to me. At least if I failed, I would have said I tried and I had learned something out of it, so yeah. Number 16. Only look back to remember how far you've come. This one is particularly important to me because I used to spend, and I'm guilty, I just catch myself still doing it sometimes. I would catch myself dwelling on things that happened in the past that were particularly embarrassing or uncomfortable for me, and I dwell on them and I beat myself up over them, and there's no real point in doing that, especially since I want to be moving forward. I don't have time to look back, but at the same time, it's important to remember how far you've come because you aren't the same person that you were 3 years ago. You're a different person. There's a lot of you, I'm sure, that's still intact. With me, I'm definitely not the same person I was 3-4 years ago. I'm a completely different person now, and that's just because I've been doing different things. I've been working on myself more. I've just been going forward. I don't have time to dwell on the past discomforts and the past things that troubled me because I want to be moving forward in my life. I don't want to be held back by something that embarrassed me 3 years ago. Number 17. Enjoy the ride while you're still on it. Meaning, enjoy the process. While you're doing something, whatever it is, whether it's, composing, playing music, whatever your field is, enjoy what you're making while you're still doing it. A lot of people think that, when you're finally successful or when you become famous or whatever, that's when you're finally happy and that's when you should finally enjoy the fruits of your labor. But no, it's all about how hard you worked to get to that point, enjoying the work that it took to get to where you are. That's not to say it won't feel good to, finally arrive at a point of success. But for me, looking back on all the hard work I've put into foreplay, for example, just because that's, my longest standing endeavor / project / band ensemble thing, I put a lot of time and energy into promoting our group on social media, and it paid off. Looking back on it, I wish I would have taken the time to savor more of those moments when I was really creating and hustling a lot. Now I'm a little more seasoned veteran, but I'm at a different stage where I appreciate all the things that we do to put, and you won't always be in that part of your life forever. So enjoy those parts because you're never gonna get that back. And last but not least, number 18, your voice is important. When you're building something, when you're building a platform, when you're trying to break out as a musician, band, you're trying to get your work noticed, it's really easy when you're starting all of that to get overwhelmed by feeling like nobody cares about you, or nobody cares about what you have to say, nobody cares about your music, you hardly have any followers, you don't have many more fans. It's very easy to get sucked into a dark hole with all of that's going on, especially exacerbated by social media with number of subscribers and followers and whatnot. But honestly, even if only one person cares, that's all that matters. If you're making a difference in someone's life, and to me, that's why I keep doing it, because I feel like, people are getting something out of what I'm providing for them. And, I struggle with, feeling validated by social media. I'm guilty of getting sucked into that dark hole of validation on social media. But I can't tell you how much it means to me when I have a random stranger online, or I just have a homie come up to me and it's like, hey Gabby, I really like your videos. That's so cool that you do YouTube. I really like watching them. I feel like it's really helpful to where I'm at. People tell me they feel like they can relate to the things that I put out. It resonates with them and their own journey and experience. So that really touches me a lot. That's like a fuel for me. It doesn't matter that I don't have 1 million followers, honestly, just because of that thing alone. Not that I care if I have 1 million followers, but I have a very small platform right now, but even so, I'm making a difference to a small group of people, and for me, that's more than I could ever ask for. The fact that I know I'm making a difference to someone somewhere out there means a lot to me. And I hope if you're watching this right now, if you're working on your career, whether you're a musician, a composer, a producer, maybe you're not even a musician, maybe you're just a creative person. This is a musician's channel, but I have a very diverse audience. No matter who you are out there, whatever you're trying to go for and strive for, I hope that you know that as long as you're out there trying to make a difference, your work matters. It doesn't matter how many people are following you. If you're trying to do some good in the world, that's all that matters. All right, well, that's it. This is the last vlog of 2018, last of musician's life for a little while. I'm gonna be taking a couple months off of vlogging for a little while, and 2 weeks off of just completely making content, because this is a whole year of vlogging takes a lot out of you. And so I'm taking a little break from YouTube just for a couple of weeks, take a little rest from YouTube and focus on some other things, and then create some new content for this channel, just because I feel like at the end of the day, I feel like I was putting so much energy into the vlog, I didn't know how to divert my time to anywhere else. So now that I'm going to have a little break from vlogging, I'm going to spend the next 2 months working on some great content for you. I will be back in 2 weeks, just not with the vlog, with some new content. Stay tuned for what that's all about. And yeah, it's been a pleasure. I hope you enjoyed watching me for this first season of Musician's Life. And I'm gonna miss it. I expected to be feeling more relieved, but I'm a little sad, actually. I was a little sad knowing it was gonna come to an end, but, I need this time off right now from doing the vlog, just so I can focus on just creating more, and just getting back on my feet. The vlog will be back in 2 months. I'll come out with a date I'll confirm with a date later on, but yeah, so 2 months from now, we'll have season 2 of Musician's Life. So stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for more content. Tuesdays are going to come back within those couple months as well as some new stuff for the channel. So thank you guys so much for watching today's vlog and for watching me all year long. I really appreciate your support, your positivity, your encouragement, all that. One love to y'all, and I'll see you in 2019. Bye, guys.